Yeah, what's going on, guys? Welcome to part 4 on Crud management system. Guys, in this particular video we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the edit functionality for this actual application. So let me go back to the demo that I showed you. If I'm gonna click on edit out here, guys, here you will notice I'm able to pull up which particular field stands for what. Like here it says a varchar, and guys, you will notice the moment I have some kind of a text field, I'm able to create a text box out here. So that means we need some way in order to check out which particular field stands for what. Then only we can make possible changes to our database. So for that we're gonna write a very simple method inside our actual class, which is called class.manage database. So here I'm gonna write one more function. I'm gonna say probably call list fields, okay, and here I'm gonna say dollar query will be equals to dollar this length query, the way we did out here on the top. You're gonna do it in the same way, but this time here I'm gonna say describe dollar table name, okay, and here guys I'm gonna say dollar table name. So finally here I'm gonna say dollar result will be equals to dollar query fetch all, like this. Finally I'm gonna say return dollar result, okay. So I believe that's all from this particular method. So come back, go to our libs folder. Here I'm gonna create actually a new file called list tables.php, okay. And here I'm gonna say php include once core slash class dot manage database dot php, and again I'm gonna create a variable called init with the I'm actually gonna make a new instance of the class called manage database, and here I'm gonna say dollar table fields like this would be equals to dollar init dollar list field, and the table name would be hot coding called users. And here I'm gonna say print r. Again it's gonna be an array, so we need to print r instead of doing that echo thing. So guys, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go to libs, and right first I need to say like one folder down from here and list tables, and here it says config file is not found. The reason behind that is I'm actually calling this particular file from inside a directory called lib, so I actually need to go one folder down. So instead of doing all that confusion, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna include this file inside my edit.php. So here I'm gonna say include once libs slash list tables .php. Now I can actually very easily manage my things from here. Here I can say edit, and guys, you will notice I'm able to get an array of data. So again, to make it more readable, we're gonna echo pre here. So pre, and remove this thing, come back, refresh, and guys, you will notice very first it says we have a field called ID, which is a type of an integer. Then we have a field with a type of a varchar. In the same way, we have an email, we have a varchar again, then we have text, and we have an integer. So that means by calling that particular method, we are able to find out which particular field stands for what and what is the name of that particular field. So again, I'm not gonna do this funny I would say printing. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my file called get data, okay, and what I'm gonna do is probably out here I'm gonna say if is set dollar get ID, like I'm making a check if I'm getting a parameter inside my URL called ID, then I'm gonna do something else. We're gonna do, you know, what we are trying to do actually here. Uh, like this. Okay, now it's fine. Now if I'm able to, you know, actually if I'm getting a variable called $id, then what I'm gonna do is, very first I'm gonna run this particular function. Okay, so I'm gonna say table fields would be init list table, and I'm gonna say this variable called $table name. Okay, $table name, and inside my edit.php I'm again gonna, you know, include the file called getData.php. So come back, we don't have any errors, that's fine. And guys, next thing we need to do is, I'm gonna grab this variable and I'm gonna remove everything from here, like this, from here. Okay, here I'm gonna start with a PHP tag. I'm gonna say PHP, and here would be the end of that particular tag. Then I'm gonna say for each dollar table fields as dollar key dollar value. Okay, like we are just trying to break an array out here. And guys, out here I'm gonna say is dollar field name will be equals to dollar value, field field. Okay, so let me echo it out, dollar field name. You will came to know what exactly I'm trying to do. So come back, refresh, it says table fields is an undefined variable. That's something funny. So let's go back to get data. Okay, I know what's the reason, because we are not getting, so do it like this. So here it says ID, name, email, password by a user level. That means we are able to, you know, get the field names. That's really nice. So I'm gonna remove it, and what I'm gonna do next is, guys, I'm gonna, you know, go back to my file called getData.php, and here I'm gonna, you know, run this function. Okay, this needs to be out here very first, and this needs to be out here, and I'm gonna say $id. So if I'll go back to my actual class where I have created this function, here it says a table name and an ID. So this parameter is actually the ID we're gonna get from the URL. So here I'm gonna say $id will be equals to $get ID. Okay, so let me explain to you once again what exactly I'm trying to do. Guys, very first I'm gonna make a check if I'm getting an ID, you know, parameter out here in the URL. If I'm getting it, I'm gonna create a variable called $id, and I'm gonna make it equals to the parameter I'm gonna get in my URL. Then I'm running the same function called getData. I'm gonna, you know, pass in the table name, like from which actual table we're gonna get it, and I'm gonna, you know, pass in the ID, like we're gonna get the data corresponding to which particular ID. So now this particular variable data is equals to everything we have inside our database, which is, you know, corresponding to an ID called 1. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this particular variable. I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna say if dollar data is not equals to 0, like actually means if you are able to get something, then I'm gonna say for each dollar data as dollar key dollar value. Okay, or probably I can say dollar data as dollar some data. Okay, I believe that's fine. And here I'm gonna, you know, grab this, and here I'm gonna say echo. Very first I'm gonna, you know, echo a div here. I'm gonna say div with a class called form elements, just to make sure everything is nested properly inside a page. Then I'm gonna say a label, and the label for would be dollar field name, like here. And here I'm gonna say input type text, name would be equals to dollar field name value would be equals to dollar some data, and here I'm gonna say dollar field name. So guys, come back and refresh. Oh, awesome, we have everything. So it says ID1 name equals to actually my name, my email, and here it says this is my password. The bio seems to be nice, and the user level would be 1. Now guys, if you will notice, the bio is inside input field. So let's say if I'm going to describe myself in 200 words, it would be really frustrating for someone to actually keep on scrolling out here. So we can actually make a check out here. Here I can say if dollar value, and here I can say type as equals to text. Okay, again I'm gonna copy it, or if it's equals to long text, okay, then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say echo text area name would be equals to dollar some data. Oh, probably I'm really sorry, that would be field name here. Okay, and I'm gonna remove these rows and some funny data from here, and here I'm gonna say some data dollar field name. Okay, so like if it's a text or a long text, then we're gonna do this. Else I'm gonna say we're gonna actually echo input box. Okay, that's straight and simple. So come back, edit with a semicolon, and one more thing we need to take care is like this, and I have to move this particular label out here on the top, and here I have to say echo the ending of the div. So come back, refresh. Oh, that's awesome. Now we have here, it says this seems to be nice. One more thing guys we need to do is here I'm gonna say a p class help, and here I'm gonna say dollar value type. So we just want to let the user know which particular field type it is. Oh, what is this? Services text. That's nice. So copy it, do it here as well, and like this, come back, refresh. So out here it says an integer, a varchar again, a varchar, a text, and an integer once again. And guys, the problem is now it's in the same color, so it will look quite confusing to the person who actually gonna deal with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my CSS file, and here it says help block, so I'm gonna copy it, and here I'm gonna say help block, and help block here either. So refresh. Now we have it in red color, and it's quite easy to understand what this red color mean and what this ID actually mean. So guys, now we are able to pull up everything from the database. Now next thing we need to do is very first we need to change this name here. So here instead of insert, I'm gonna say edit, and I'm gonna say edit values here either. Now guys, the one more problem is we are actually showing the ID to the user. So let's say you have some kind of a full staff who gonna actually change it to 2. So they're gonna do a lot of problem inside the database, because we already have something inside a database with an ID of 2. So it's never safe to give someone an option to actually play with our sensitive data. So what I'm gonna do for that is probably here I'm gonna run one more if statement. I'm gonna say if dollar value, or probably if dollar field name is equals to ID. Okay, so if it is equals to ID, then we don't want to do anything like in this if here. Okay, very first I have to say if it's not equals to ID. That's my bad. Okay, now guys, now we have the name, email, the password, the bio, and the user level. So we are not giving them any option to play with our ID here. So guys, let's come back to the index page. Out here we are able to get everything. Now just we have to make a link to the edit page. So come back, go to index.php. Here I'm gonna say uh, id equals to php echo dollar value id. Okay, and same goes to delete one either. So here I'm gonna say id equals to php echo dollar id. Come back. Oh, there is some funny error. So let me find it out. Okay, I know why it is, because it's already inside the PHP and I'm again opening and closing some tags, so that's my bad. So here I'm gonna say id will be equals to $id, and here either I'm gonna say id is equals to $id. So come back, refresh. Oh, again my bad, it needs to be $value id. I'm not sure what happened to me, so it needs to be $value id like this. Come back, hopefully we don't have any errors now. If I'm gonna click on this, it's going fine, so let's go back. Okay, go to this particular one. Here it says user level 4, that's fine. Come back, here it says user level 1, that's fine. So guys, now we are able to pull up everything from a table. We are able to at least go to the edit page. We have not wrote any code for edit and they're gonna be really super easy. So let's cover that in this particular video itself. So I'm gonna go back to the file called class manage database. Okay, here I'm gonna write a function called edit data. It's gonna take the table name and we're gonna take one more value. They're gonna be param, and guys, this particular parameter called $param gonna be an array for us. So here I'm gonna say for each $param as $key $value. So here I'm gonna say $query will be equals to this link like link query, and I'm gonna say update table name, and I'm gonna say set $key equals to $value, and we need one more thing where id will be equals to $id, and I'm gonna pass in that here either. Okay, so go back to our file called edit.php. We're gonna give our form some action here, so I'm gonna say form action would be the same file called edit.php. id will be equals to php echo $get id like this, and the method gonna be post and this needs to be ending here. I believe we are done with that. So guys, out here I'm gonna include one more file. I'm gonna say include once lib/edit data.php. So come back to libs. Here I'm gonna create a new file called edit data.php. Okay, here I'm gonna start with PHP tags. Very first, I'm gonna make sure that a user is hitting that particular edit button. Then only we gonna run any code. Otherwise, we don't want to do anything. So here I'm gonna say if is$post, and the name of our button is edit values. Okay. Here I'm gonna say is $param, like we're gonna create a variable. They're gonna be equals to $_post like this. Okay, everything like we are getting through a post, and guys, it's gonna be equals to an array. So let me give you an example one more time. I'm gonna say print r $param and echo pre to make sure everything is neat and clean. So come back, refresh, hit edit value. Awesome. Here it says name equals to this, email equals to this, password, bio, user level, and edit value equals to edit value. So you don't have to even worry about the last one. That's fine. So let's go ahead and we're gonna remove it. Very first, I'm gonna include our class file. That would be class called manage database.php. Okay, here I'm gonna say probably would be $init, like a new instance of class manage database. And finally I'm gonna say $edit values will be, you know, the init, the instance, and grab the function called edit data. Come back here. So the ID will be $get ID, like the one we're gonna get from the URL, and the table name would be table name would be, say, users. Guys, for now we are every time hard coding in this particular table called users, but later we're gonna, you know, create sessions, and we're gonna do, you know, a lot of stuff in order to make sure that the tables are dynamic too. We don't have to, you know, hard code in all these tables and stuff. Okay guys, I believe that's all. And finally I'm gonna say header location back to edit.php. ID will be equals to $ID. So here would be .php. That's fine. Come back and refresh the page from here. I'm gonna change my password to, that was my password. Okay, hit edit values. I believe it's done. Refresh. Here it says that was my password. That means it's updated successfully. If I'll come back to index.php, here it says that was my password. So guys, see how easy it was to, you know, actually update things by using an array and probably dealing with functions. And if you would be doing, you know, some kind of a procedural coding, you would be doing a lot of stuff like $name is equal to $post name and other, you know, creepy stuff. So in this way you can grab everything in a variable, you can pass in that variable out here and update it to your database. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.